Have you guys ever heard of Mermaid Melody, Pichi Pichi Pitch? Okay, so we did that. We did all of it. We did the music, we redid the whole thing, and it never came out.
I have more people that come up to me and ask me about Rena and why hasn't that show been released? I'm like, I don't know, we did it 8 years ago. I wish it was.
Dubs versus subs will probably continue to be a debate we hear about in the anime community till the end of time. I usually watch sub myself, but really, just do whatever works for you. But even so, I'm sure we'd all feel sad to hear about an entire anime dub, including tons of translated songs, being abruptly tossed aside indefinitely. That's a huge bummer. And sadly, it's not exactly impossible. I'm not gonna pretend I understand the full legality of the situation, because licensing can get pretty convoluted. However, I've done my best to research the disappearance of Mermaid Melody's ADV dub. Real quick before we dive any deeper into things, hello, I'm Rosie Vision, and I like taking a look at entertainment through rose-tinted glasses. Because we all deserve some magic in our lives. And what could be more magical than defeating sea demons through the power of song? First off, I'm gonna give a quick rundown of what Mermaid Melody is for anyone who isn't familiar. Mermaid Melody Pichi Pichi Pitch was originally a manga that started serializing in 2002. It was created and written by Michiko Yokote, and Pink Hanamori handled illustration. You may actually be familiar with some of Yokote's work, because she has quite the extensive track record as an anime screenwriter, including work on Shirobako, Kami-sama Kiss, Bleach, Rurouni Kenshin, and even Cowboy Bebop. She's also one of the main writers for Princess Tutu, a personal favorite of mine. But Michiko Yokote is probably best known for birthing Mermaid Melody, which received an anime adaptation just a year after the manga started. But what is Mermaid Melody even about? Mermaid Melody is loosely based on Hans Christian Andersen's The Little Mermaid. It follows Lucia Nanami, a mermaid princess who gave her precious pink pearl to a human boy she saved from a tsunami. Years go by and the sea is now in danger. Lucia needs to get her pearl back in order to protect the ocean, so she heads to dry land to find it. There she is reunited with Kaito, the boy she saved. She is able to recover her pearl shortly afterwards. Lucia quickly begins to grow feelings for Kaito, but as fate would have it, she cannot confess. If a mermaid confesses their love to a human, they'll transform into bubbles and disappear forever. Pretty dramatic, right? You can thank the ending to the original Little Mermaid for that one. It's also pretty similar to the setup in Princess Tutu, which Yokote also wrote for. The rest of the series follows Lucia teaming up with other mermaid princesses to fight against evil water demons using the power of music. Yeah, you heard that right. Fighting scenes in this anime consist almost exclusively of song battles between the heroes and villains, of which the villain songs are vastly superior. Is it ridiculous? Yes. But there's an undeniable charm to it, which has led to Mermaid Melody having quite the cult following over the years. You can probably see why a dubbing company would want to snatch up a show like this. It's a really fun series with tons of opportunities for merchandising, plus a marketable soundtrack to boot. And sure enough, the English dubbing rights to Mermaid Melody were snatched up by ADV in 2004. And from what I could find, they were the first to dub the series. So ADV was really quick to pounce on the opportunity. By the next year, ADV had finished dubbing the entire anime, which at the time included 52 episodes, 12 insert songs, and from the little footage there is, we can assume they dubbed the first 2 openings and endings too. That is an insane amount of work. That includes translating lyrics, creating vocal guides, recording, and mixing and mastering for 16 different songs. That's the equivalent to a lengthy studio album. I can't imagine how much time they put into everything. ADV also partnered with a major toy company to make the series even more commercially profitable. Judging by the TV trailer, it looks like we would have gotten officially licensed e-pitch microphones in North America if things didn't fall through. All that was left to do was find a TV network to air the series on. Seems like it'd be a piece of cake for such a gold mine of potential, right? I mean, come on. Mermaid princesses who transform into magical idols to fight evil, with over 24 songs, plenty of romance subplots, and potential to make tons of dolls and toys that kids would love. EDV probably thought they had it in the bag. However, ADV failed to acquire a TV deal for the show. The reason for networks not wanting to pick up the series aren't completely certain. I found mixed answers while researching, ranging from not being able to agree on a proper age demographic for the show, to the series supposedly aiming too much towards girls. The only sources I could find on that were anecdotal though, so take it with a grain of salt. Regardless of the reasoning behind it, ADV was not able to find a home for their Mermaid Melody dub. So just a year after picking up the license, ADV dropped it because they didn't have enough financial incentive to pursue things further. And not long after that in 2009, the company shut down due to declining profits. Quite the tragic end if you ask me. That means half 100 episodes of vocal work and 16 re-recorded and translated songs went completely down the drain. But not all hope is completely lost. There are still small remnants of all that hard work lying around, luckily enough. We still have a trailer for the series, which includes vocal performances from some of the main cast, a sneak peek at planned merchandise, as well as a small snippet of the English version of Super Love Songs. A few of the voice actors have also spoken on the series as well. Brittany Karbowski and Carli Mosier confirmed how the dub was completely finished before it was dropped. They also mentioned that they still have the scratch tracks used for the soundtrack. Plus, Brittany sang a small snippet of the English version of Ever Blue. I saw a comment saying that Brittany also sung a portion of Legend of Mermaid during a panel, but I couldn't find anything. Let me know if you guys know anything about that, I guess.
I get a lot of questions about that show now. It's almost like only now girls are realizing that that show was dubbed and it's never been released. And it was dubbed so long ago.
Where is it? You don't even know where it is.
They tried to shop it around and people said it was either too young or too old for whatever folk script that they're looking for. And
Well, because it's made for
Clearly
young
there's a market
children,
that's
but it has
asking about it.
boyfriends.
there's clearly a market,
And
and why they won't release it, I don't know.
Besides the trailer and small snippets of musical performances, the only other piece of information revealed about the dub was the casting list. Once again, I'm not too sure how accurate the information is, but there are a few voice actors that are 100% confirmed based on the trailer and panels. And that's everything fans have managed to find after over 15 years of waiting. Not to be too pessimistic, but considering how long it's been, I have a feeling that the ADV version of Mermaid Melody is never going to surface. Legally, at least. I could see maybe the music or episodes being leaked, but even that is really pushing it. At this point, I think the best fans can hope for is that someone else picks up the license. However, I do think it's possible the series could be rebooted soon, which would give dubbing companies a huge push to jump onto the license. I may have made things sound pretty hopeless, but from what I discovered while researching, it really does seem like the ADV dub still exists out there somewhere. The French and Spanish versions of the show were likely made using the English dub. You can hear part of the English opening in one of the Spanish commercials.
Open the door to paradise and see what's beyond the sun and the sea.
So that means the companies who dubbed the show into Spanish and French could very possibly still have copies of the ADV dub. Granted, it has been a long time. I'm not sure how long companies hold on to things like that. Probably not for almost 20 years, I imagine. So that lead may be a bust. I did hear people hoping that the dub could get re-released since Sentai took over ADV Films, but it's been years and still nothing. And on top of that, just last year, Sentai was acquired by AMC Network. So I'm not entirely sure what that means for the future of the company. But really, at the end of the day, all it takes is one person to recover lost media like this. So if anyone held onto the episodes or music for whatever reason, then there is still the possibility of at least some of it resurfacing one day. Mermaid Melody is a super nostalgic series to many. I remember waking up at 6 in the morning, voluntarily, just so that I could have the computer to myself for 2 hours before school started to watch it. I sacrificed precious sleep time because of just how enthralled I was by the show. Like most fans, the only option I had to watch it were fan subs on YouTube. Eventually, I had to drop the second season because the fan subs didn't cover the entire thing. I didn't really like the second season as much anyways, but it was still a sad way to end things. The show isn't super amazing or anything, but it was absolutely captivating to my younger self. The concept was fun, and there were some really good songs too. It's majorly depressing that this project never got to see the light of day. I was super excited when I first spotted the trailer. I was really looking forward to hearing Lucia's performance since she was going to be voiced by Lucy Christian. Around that time, I had just finished Princess Tutu for the first time. Another Michiko Yokote work, funnily enough, and Lucy really won me over with her performance. I thought she was perfect for Lucia since the original VA has quite a unique and nasally voice. But most of all, I really wanted to be able to sing along to the soundtrack in English. I had already learned a good chunk of the songs, including the Italian versions, but I was ready to be able to experience them all over again. I scoured the internet for years after finding that trailer trying to find more of the dub, but to no avail. I also remember praying that we'd get the translated lyrics released after finding that panel clip of Carli and Brittany talking about the scratch tracks. At least that way, everyone would be able to sing together and the dub would live on in some sort of fashion. But to this day, I still can't find any more pieces of all those lost translated songs. That hasn't stopped people from making their own versions, though. Fans have done their best to make their own English versions of the entire Mermaid Melody soundtrack. And there's some really good ones out there. I'll link some covers in the description and add a card too. They're definitely worth a listen if you're a fan of the show. I have no doubt that there are plenty of fans all around the world that would love to see a comeback for the series. A sequel to the manga released recently, so I think that's proof enough that there's still interest in the series. Also, considering several classic shoujo titles have been rebooted these past few years, along with more on the way, there is a healthy chance that Mermaid Melody could get similar treatment. So fingers crossed, everybody. And let's try to end it on a positive note. That's all for today, guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then please subscribe so you can join me for the journey to come. I'll see you guys in the next one, and don't forget to keep a little magic in your life.